Hi, today in this demo, we are going to see how to set up and workflow with Lea Screening, Lea Calling, and Lea Interview. And then we are going to look at Recruit's job board, which shows how a job will appear after the project has been set up. We are then going to look at Lea Screening and Lea Screening's report, Lea Calling, and then Lea Interview from a candidate perspective, how a candidate would answer the Lea interview. And then we're going to look at the overall report after all the interview process, calling, and everything is complete. Let me show you how this works. You start by creating a project and creating a workflow. Now, for now, I'm going to select Lea Screening, Lea Calling, and Lea Interview in a workflow. So you start by resume screening, then a screening call is made to the candidate, and then best candidates are sent an AI interview. The next step is to now add the job description. Once you upload the job description, the AI will automatically pick the mandatory skills and nice to have skills from the JD. Once you have confirmed the mandatory skills and nice to have skills, the next step is to confirm few more details that is not part of the job description. During the screening call, there is a chance for the candidate to ask questions to the AI. The AI will answer these questions using the information provided here. Now, if the candidate asks a question that is not part of the information here, the AI will provide a generic answer. In the next screen, you will be asked to enter the screening questions that you want the candidate to answer as part of resume screening when the candidate applies for a job, and also the selection criteria based on which you want to move the candidate from resume screening to Lea calling. Now you configure how the Lea screening calls should happen. AI calls the candidates and asks questions based on the resume, but you can also add few generic questions to ask all the candidates. Like Lea screening, you also need to select a selection criteria in order to move the candidate from Lea calling to Lea interview. There are three types of callings that we have provided here, and as the name suggests, it ranges from basic screening, technical screening, or to a cold call. Next, we configure how the AI interview should happen. Now, first you select the interview type. There are three different types of interviews provided, ranging from a screening interview to a subject matter expertise interview. Now, here is where the actual subject matter expertise interviews happen. These interviews can go anywhere from 40 minutes to 15 minutes with a number of questions. And you will see that the questions range from theoretical, behavioral to coding questions. Now, if you don't like what the questions that the AI has provided, you can also use the advanced settings to play around and select the type of questions that you want the AI to ask the candidates. You can also do coding interviews. All you need to do is select the programming language and the number of questions that you want to be asked from that programming language, and also put the complexity levels, experience levels, and then the AI will automatically customize the questions based on the requirements you have provided. So if you see the questions asked, the questions range from scenario based questions to case study questions, and then coding questions at the end because you selected three coding questions. And then select a deadline. Now, the candidates can do the interview any point in time before the deadline. Once you have set up the interview, all you got to do is invite the candidates. There are three ways you could invite the candidates. One, you could integrate your Gmail, Google Workspace, or Microsoft Teams with Recruit. So the invites can go from your email address, or you could send the invite to a Recruit email address, or you can manually send those emails by creating an interview link. Once you've set up the project, the the job that you created will be available on our job board immediately. Candidates can apply to the job. All they have to do is upload the resume, enter the screening questions, and hit apply. Within a couple of seconds, the candidate will immediately know whether they have moved on to the next step or whether their journey in the job application stops here. Now, if their application is successful as per the selection criteria that you have mentioned, then a message is immediately popped up on screen saying that they will be receiving a call within the next 5 to 10 minutes. And then the Lea screening call will happen within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Let me show you how the Lea screening report looks like. Now, this is the report that gets generated at the first step. Once the candidate applies for the job through by uploading his resume, this is how the report will look like. Now, this is in comparison with the job description. Now, for every resume applied, Recruit's AI will provide a brief summary of whether the resume is a good match with the job description. Will provide the notable strengths from the resume, comparing again with the job description, any issues and concerns, any certificates found in the resume, and then whether any mandatory skills and nice to have skills listed in the resume, and then detailed role insights in terms of experience match between the resume and the job description, skills match, education match, location match, and then also goes beyond job description to talk about any specific points that is available in the resume, and then what are the requirements not matched between the JD and the resume itself. So this is the first step, and this is how the report will look like immediately after resume screening. Now, let me show you how a Lea calling report will look like. This is the report generated after screening calls have happened. Now, once the AI has spoken to the candidate, it will provide a summary, again, notable strengths, issues, and concerns, and it will provide the complete transcribe of what was asked, what the candidate respond, and also any questions from the candidate, and also the complete call recording as well. Here as well, like in resume screening, you will have a score and a rating as to whether the candidate is a best match, good match, not a good match against the job description. This is after you have had a 5 or 6 minute call with the candidate. Now, because it's Lea calling, there are many times when the AI would not be able to reach the candidate. The candidate might be busy, the candidate might have switched off his phone, or the candidate might not pick up the phone, or the candidate might pick up the call and say, "Call me later in the evening." Now, in all these circumstances, the AI will try to call the candidate after 4 hours. Now, if the candidate provides a timing for the call, the AI will call the candidate on that time. Now we will show you how a candidate will complete the AI interview through the Recruit platform. Once the candidate logs in through the invite that he receives on his mail, he will be asked a series of questions to answer. Now, based on the candidate's responses, follow up questions will also be triggered by AI, ensuring that the candidate answers the best for every question. For coding questions like this, the candidate is expected to provide the code based on which his skills are evaluated. Now, for coding questions, his skills are evaluated on the syntax, the accuracy of the code, logic, total output, and so forth. Now, let me show you how the overall report looks like after the AI interview has happened. Now, this is the report that gets generated after Lea screening, where resume is screened, after Lea calling, where screening calls have happened, and then after AI interview, where the complete interview has happened. Now, Lea automatically provides a recommended or not recommended status for every candidate who has completed the workflow. Now, that is Lea's recommendation that compares the candidate's overall answers and compares that with the job description. Now, for each stage in the workflow, Lea also provides this score separately. For example, for this candidate has got a best match 90% in Lea screening, which is his comparison between his resume and the job description. Then screening calls, which is a good match, and then in the final AI interview, he has been rated as a good fit and has got a score of 62%. Along with that, a detailed summary of how the candidate has performed across the three steps is provided, along with notable strengths, issues and concerns, and so forth. There is also a separate skill assessment done for each of the skills that are provided in the job description. Role insights are there that has come from the resume, comparing resume and the job description, and then the communication skill across screening calls and AI interview. Now, the communication skill is our own model and is ranked based on the IELTS English speaking test. There is also the candidate responses across resume parsing, where he has answered to the screening questions, the Lea Calling, where the transcript is provided along with the call recording, and then also the video of the interview along with the questions that were asked and the call transcribe, along with each question as to how he has performed. Now, if there was a coding question, the entire code that he typed during the call is also provided here. This concludes our demo. For a demo on Lea Assist, we've got a separate video for that. Please check the other videos in the playlist. If you would like a personalized demo, feel free to reach out to us. Alternatively, if you would like to explore the platform yourself, please sign up and start your free trial. Thank you.